Welcome to Breaking Barriers. You know your path. We know the obstacles, and we can teach you how to tear them down. And now your host, CEO and founder of Adapting Social, John Vigero.
So, all right, guys, welcome back to Breaking Barriers. I'm super excited to have you both here today. We have RevolutioniZe Nutrition in the building. Yes. Let's go. Let's go. So we have Michele, who's an IFBB Pro and NPC IFBB Prep Coach.
Yes.
And we have my guy Randy, who's an NPC IFBB Prep Coach and an NASM Certified Personal Trainer. What the fuck is NASM?
National Academy of Sports Medicine.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
All right. I love it. And listen, honestly, I'm so stoked to have you guys on. Obviously, we did an event together. We've seen each other in multiple circles over the years. I love you guys are crushing it and doing big things. The one thing that I'm so stoked that we have you guys on right now, particularly for, is that like we're in such a weird time. We're in a time because before right now, like during the pandemic, right? Like people got fat as shit. They were sitting home, drinking, eating, and by people I mean me, right? And some other people,
you.
right? But additionally, you know, we now live in a world now where like a lot of people are using Ozempic, right?
Oh God, yes.
And a lot of people are getting skinny like through these other drugs and stuff and whatever else. So I want to dive into that because we have a lot of questions that have come in from our listeners on those topics, right?
I love this.
So I want to first start off with you, Michele.
Yes.
So what, obviously anybody, if you want to check out like, you know, you guys on your website or social media, like you have pictures of you ripped like Rambo, right? So what made you get into this world? Like what made you, did you first compete and then you're like, I want to like start doing this full time? Like,
so I always loved being strong.
Yeah.
I prided myself on being stronger than the guys. Let's be
good,
honest.
I like it.
And I used to be a competitive dancer, volleyball player. I got injured in college. I like tore my groin before a dance performance, and I was like, wow, I can't do open switch leaps anymore. And,
was that doing like some sort of thing?
It was right before a performance, and I had the adrenaline going, went on stage, still did the performance, woke up the next morning and I was barely able to walk.
Oh my God.
So that was fun. And I was like, you know what, I love working out, I love being strong, I want to take this to the next level. And I was, working out for quite a while, but then in 2012 into 2013 was when I pivoted and I really wanted to go into the bodybuilding realm and compete so I could be on stage again and kind of live that audience performer life again, but in a different way.
Was there somebody that you saw that inspired you to want to become?
There was, yeah. I used to follow a few I guess fit models online, and I was like, yo, that girl's jacked. She's like a jacked Victoria's Secret model. And I was like, that's what I want. I was never a skinny person, and nor did I ever want to be skinny. Like I wanted to be strong, I wanted to be muscular, but still feminine. And when I saw these athletes who were gorgeous bombshells of women, fit but still feminine, I was like, that's what I want. Right. And so I started lifting, and me and Randy worked together at the time at a gym, and he was like, I can help you.
At Central State Fitness.
Okay.
So connected to the hospital. It was nice.
Oh,
nice
okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And
you guys like staying by hospitals based on where your office is.
We always like the healthcare aspect of it too.
Good.
For sure. And then he coached me for my first show, and I won my first show, took the overall, and I was like, we got something here. So I continued competing.
And then he kidnapped you.
Kidnapped me,
And he said, I'm taking you with me.
Yes, 100%.
You're going to be the face of this company. Just
100%. I was like, I know where this is going. And so I kept competing. And then in 2017 is when I earned my IFBB Pro card, and I started competing as a professional.
Let's go.
Athlete. Yeah, baby.
That's awesome.
And in addition, right after I won my first show is when we opened RevolutioniZe Nutrition. So 2013, we celebrated 10 years last year.
Yeah, the show was in May. We opened the LLC that June.
Yeah.
What?
And my mom's based me on a credit card I couldn't pay back.
And that's how we
Randy's
roll.
like, let's fucking do this.
Take a gamble on yourselves when everybody's like, nah, you can't do this. We're like, we could do this.
That's the best time to do it, right? Yeah. That's the funnest.
If I failed, I was still going to be in mom's basement.
100%. When I started adapting, that's the same thought I had. I was like, listen, I'm home. Like, worst case, I'll be out.
You're safe.
Right, but I can't take my mom's house for my fault.
Right. So let's talk about you now, Randy. So So how long have you been coaching and prepping?
So I've really, been to fitness my whole life. I was a kid doing football, wrestling through high school till college. So I got hurt.
Okay.
And then, bodybuilding in my 20s, never competing on stage or anything, was living a lifestyle.
Yeah.
I started personal training in about 2004, 2005.
Okay.
And then she was actually my first competition client.
Oh, wow.
It was a big experiment.
So we were like,
Let's see how this works.
Yeah, so we were all working out in a group of friends at the time, and she mentioned she wanted to do a show, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I've never done it before, but I'm like, I can do it.
Right.
So I studied up a little bit more on it, wrote the diet for her, and I'm like, okay, let's modify this for regular people and keep it for conscious people. And we started soft rolling it out with some clients for at the time, and then like, okay, let's start charging now for these diets. And
Yeah.
Then it started evolving little by little.
It's just
Nice.
all word of mouth. We didn't advertise at all. People just loved the program. They loved working with us, and they just sent their friends, and then it just grew, and it was thriving.
And one thing that, so like, we had like a ton of questions come in. Like, one of the people like, how the fuck does a married couple work together?
Very difficult.
I do it with my wife too. My wife's my CFO for all my companies.
Yeah.
So literally, like, I get it, but like, they wanted to ask you guys that question.
Yeah, so it's got its own complications. I'd say in terms of work, it's easy.
Yeah.
In terms of turning the work off and going back to home, it's hard.
Right. Well, I was gonna ask. So, like, one of the questions were like, how did you guys handle like not being on the same page about something? Like, would you talk it out? Would you be like at the dinner table, like, fuck you, Michelle?
This way, Randy was always a confrontational person. I wasn't a confrontational person. So I'd be like, let's have a calm discussion about this. And he was like,
Well, and there was also, especially, I've calmed down over the years. I've mellowed.
Yes.
Especially earlier on. There was no such thing as off hours.
Of course.
If this idea came to me at 1 a.m, we are talking about it.
He was waking me up at 1 a.m.
Because at the time, I was kind of, if somebody woke me up at 1 a.m. to talk business, fuck yeah, let's go. Like, I want to go. Yeah. She was not there. She was more of a work-life balance person.
Yes.
I love it. love it.
That part was hard.
Yeah. See, I get that. I think that's always a good balance though too, because you always need somebody to like keep you down. Like we talked about like Jamie and Caleb.
Yes.
You need somebody to like pull you down a little bit and keep 100%. You on earth. Not floating up. That's me with Jacqueline. I'll wake up like now the kids. I ain't waking up nobody. Like before that, like I was like just nonstop.
Yeah.
Now, all right. So let's move along here. So with this whole, let's call it just Ozempic epidemic right now, right? Like, what is your guys' take on? So, like, this is the thing. So, some people are coming. Like, I've interviewed a couple of people who've been on it and stuff, and asked questions about it and stuff. Some people swear by it up and down. Other people are like, hey, I just use it as a tool to get me like skinnier so that I can keep going because I can't, get rid of that stubborn fat or whatever they're trying to get rid of. What is your take on this?
So I got a couple different takes on it, but so I'll start with the pro Ozempic take, I guess.
Yeah.
For people that are morbidly obese, you got disabilities, you were maybe a lap band surgery candidate in the past. It's a great option for them.
Okay.
For the fine tuning people, let's say losing 50 pounds or less. It's hard to say it's a great idea, to have to keep up with injections forever to keep the weight off.
Right.
We're actually putting out some content about this coming in the future of, if you're going to use it, its main idea is it's an appetite suppressant at the end of the day.
Right.
Like I tell people, it's not steroids, where steroids gives you something you can't do naturally.
Yes, right.
It's not a pro-steroid talk.
Yeah.
But
back to you, Randy.
This is brought to you by friend both. Yeah. But, it just gives you, it shuts your appetite off.
Yeah.
So, but it happens to be in the 500 to 800 calories, and you lose muscle, fat, a lot of stuff. So it's important to...
that's the big thing that we're seeing is when people are using this and not combining it with proper diet and to support, nourishment and their muscle mass and their basic bodily functions, and they're not combining it with resistance training, they're atrophying, they're becoming weak. I know one girl in particular, she was a power lifter, absolute beast of a chick. She started taking it and her confidence in the gym went down. She went from being a top level power lifter to barely being able to carry a barbell, just a barbell. And then her self-confidence went down. She stopped going to the gym and everything, and it psychologically messed her up. So when you're dealing with the psychological repercussions of this, people are so fixated on the aesthetics, they forget about what's going on in here. And that's why we talk about, if you're going to use it, make sure you're working with a professional who's making sure you're not malnourished, somebody like RevolutioniZe, right? To make sure you're getting the nutrition that you need under the circumstances and the proper resistance training for optimal health.
It's just so funny because like I would see people who like, listen, I told you guys this at the prepared leader event last time. Like, I definitely like to party, right?
Yeah.
Now with kids, it's definitely way less, obviously. But I still do like to party. And one of the things, like all the people that I've seen like that I don't know, that I see like out in the summertime and stuff, like this year, people were stick figures, right? Yes. And I was like, what?
It's a very different look.
Like, what the fuck happened here?
It's a very different
You get a big head, you get the
right.
The sunken in.
Well, what I've noticed the most is people's faces get skinnier and their noses look bigger.
Yes.
That's what I noticed.
Because the nose and the ears stay the same size.
I didn't know that. Okay, that makes sense. That's cartilage and shit, right?
Yeah.
So like honestly, like I'm just like, why does everybody get skinny and their noses got bigger? Like, what the fuck is going on around the Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
But
I mean, think about how
I don't find it a good look. You know, not
no,
because
I personally, yeah.
But I don't think it's a great look.
like
no, I agree with that.
When I compete, I get my body fat to such a low number, and again, as an athlete, not using Ozempic, just with nutrition and training, but your face gets sunken in. It's not healthy when you're competing.
Right.
And somebody called me, he's like, we used to refer to you as teeth because your teeth looked so big in comparison to the rest of your face because it was so sunken in and skinny, you know? So all your other features do look
What's
large.
the skinny, what's like the least body fat you ever had?
Every device you use gives you a different metric. So I don't really actually know.
Yeah.
All the judges care about is
How
what
you
you look
look.
like.
Right,
I actually don't even know.
Now you still actively compete?
So I'm not actively on stage. I follow the lifestyle.
Okay.
I practice bodybuilding every day. I'm an absolute monster in the gym. I'm just not in the mood to diet down for a show.
It's not even the dieting as much. You know, I'll talk about it. It's more the drugs have gotten out of control with this sport.
Yeah.
10 years ago was a very different animal than it is now.
We're not an anti-drug guy. Some of the stuff. I like, the men's bodybuilding. I want to be the Wild West. We're there to see the freaks. I'm not there to see people drive speed limit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But when it comes to the women's division, they still want to look. You still want to look like women.
Yeah.
And there's a degree of drugs where you can keep that.
Right.
And there's where they've gotten now, and it's
out of hand.
It's out of hand.
And there's things that happen to the women's body that are irreversible.
Being backstage at Dallas.
Being backstage at Dallas. I mean, the women's, their hair is gone. They're wearing wigs.
What do you mean though? From all the
excessive, high amounts of like testing different anabolic steroids and combinations. And I'm not anti-drug. I'm very just pro information and just making sure you know the repercussions of what you're going to put into your body.
Yeah.
And saying, am I okay with this or not?
It's not a sport like the NFL. We're going to be able to have generational wealth from this. It's going to cost you money.
I chose the wrong sport to be a professional in.
Yo, that's a good point though, Randy. Yeah. That really is. Yeah, it's a good point though. And even in the pro athletes, like they run out of money.
Yeah,
right. And they're multi-millionaires.
I mean,
right?
you saw 30 for 30 broke.
Yeah. Well, look at how terrible like the shape that Ronnie Coleman's in right now.
Oh man.
It kills me every time I see him.
That's what a $10 million supplement brand, and he's still still struggling.
Right. Wild. And the one thing I'll say though too is like, when I was younger, I never did like actual injection steroids. But I took this thing back in the day. My cousin used to work for his nutrition shop.
It's like a test booster.
It was called Quad, and it had like had 4 different types of steroids in it. One was like the cut down one, Tren, or
was it Trent?
Something I don't even remember what they were.
Right.
But anyway, so I took it and I felt great.
Yeah.
I can show you guys pictures later. I was like maybe 22 like years old, right? I should have been on this shit. But anyway, I felt great. I was like, holy shit. Like I felt like I looked the best. I looked better then, way better than I do now. That's for sure. But the whole thing is, I didn't cycle off it properly, right? And then boom, what I get, gynecomastia.
Yep.
There you go. One of the most common things.
Fucking gyno, man.
Yep.
And I had it for no joke. I had it for probably maybe 8 years, right? Until eventually I'm like, dude, I got mandingo titties.
Time to pay for this.
I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. And my biggest fear in my life though was getting like surgery. I was like, I'm terrified of going to the knife. I don't want to go to the knife. So I did the voting, and eventually my wife was like, listen, this could probably it has a chance of turning into like breast cancer. Like some men get that shit.
They do.
So I wound up getting it done, and thank God, right? But it was so like, I know a lot of guys actually had it from taking shit
a lot.
And dude, like I thought I had it bad. Right?
Oh, there's some really bad cases out there.
Right, but when they took mine out, they were like, do you want us to save it so you can see it?
Yeah.
I was like, absolutely. it was like the size of softballs on each side, right? The glands.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. So anyway, but my whole point to the story is that you're gonna take it, cycle off properly.
Cycle off it.
I took what's the beta blocker? What the fuck it's called?
Yeah.
The blockers.
Tamoxifen, Novadex.
Yeah. I had it at my house.
I just didn't take
it. And I was like an idiot. I was 22. I was like
you're
drinking.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the age that everybody's doing it, right? Your early 20s.
Yeah,
Correct.
my 20s were. I do TRT now. I'm a big advocate for that.
Right.
But yeah, I did the dumb shit in my 20s too.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, but anyway, that was fucking freaky, doing that shit. And it's like doing it the right way, or doing it like the right people. Like I have friends that are bodybuilders, and like they're on steroids and stuff. Like they cycle very clean and proper, and they have somebody like that is watching and knows.
Yeah.
It's like,
it can be done. It can be done right. It really can.
Yeah.
So actually, I want to ask some questions from this guy John Vigero. But so here's my question, right? Because we got a lot of questions from like dads and like guys who are like, I don't have time to work out a lot. Like like if somebody is like super busy, they have kids, and they don't have the time to the gym as often as they would like to and stuff. What's your like advice for them?
So,
I'm very big on efficiency. I'll just say my bit on this. I'm very big on efficiency. You can get a lot done training 3 days a week.
Yeah.
You could be in and out in 45 minutes to an hour at most.
honestly, half hour.
Half hour.
Yeah.
It just depends on your
You're not going to
intensity.
be a bodybuilder in half hour. But sorry.
Right, no, that's
Yeah.
good. Like, again, it just depends on your intensity, being efficient, having the right methodology, intensify your tactics, and so forth. You can get a lot done in just 30 minutes.
Yeah.
3 days a week.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's a huge point. I think, like, for me, something I found as I got older, it's really important to find a physical activity you like first.
Yes.
Yeah. So important.
It's always easy to make time for something you enjoy.
Yes.
I'm not saying that's always the case. Some people just really have 30 minutes.
Right.
But even if you have 30 minutes on you don't like for something to do.
Yeah.
So whether it's the weights, the running, like I like jujitsu now that I've been into. It's really fun. It's keep me busy. Boxing.
Yeah.
Find something you like.
That's what got me back into working out again.
And also keep in mind, though, if you enjoy running and you're running 15 miles a day and that's where you're putting your time.
15 miles a day?
I'm talking about runners. I got
crazies.
I'm
freak
like
people, right? But I tell them, I go, don't expect to look like a bodybuilder when you are doing that type
Right.
of
And that's
training.
a good point. Like I like to tell people, it's relatively easy to be healthy and fit. To get to those next levels where it's more specialized, to be like, I want to be a really good runner. I want to look like a bodybuilder.
Right.
Then it takes a little more effort.
Yep.
Right.
I'm saying, if you're a regular guy who wants to be a little healthier,
Yeah.
it's not hard. Just get started and I guarantee you'll be there.
And
it's
healthy
mostly
and,
diet.
healthy and fit comes in different forms. I know a lot of bodybuilders that look like the epitome of health. They are like, are you a god? But inside
Right.
they're literally killing themselves
Oh my
with
God.
trend.
Or they're
Right.
cardio, so they walk up 5 stairs and they're about to
Right.
die.
So it's like, what does health and fitness mean
Yeah,
to you?
yeah.
It comes in your health markers internally. You got to remember, it's not just what you see aesthetically on the
That's the big thing we
outside.
get to, and kind of off topic here. Like when a member signs up with us, they're like, what should my goal be? I'm like, I have no idea. I go, I don't know, man.
Give me the goal.
I know what healthy is.
Yeah.
Here's what healthy is. Once you're
Right.
inside those markers, the sky's the limit, whatever you want.
Right.
But I think people overestimate how much it takes to get healthy and underestimate how much it takes to be elite.
Right.
Like every guy thinks they're 10 pounds away from a six-pack.
Rob wants to know how many Bud Lights and Jack Daniels get him healthy.
Infinity. There's an endless amount.
2 more than you're having now.
That's what he wanted to hear.
Every protein shake, the
He's like,
base is
I'm
beer. Beer, protein powder.
But so actually, so on that topic though, right? So like with diet, right? So like the one thing, so like during COVID, right? After all this stuff went down, like, whatever else, I wish that we were contacted because obviously I didn't really we didn't know each other.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And we wound up hiring this New York nutritionist my wife found. And the whole thing that she said to me was like, hey, like you should be fasting. And then she gave me, I don't even remember what the diet was. She gave me some sort of diet. But what I wanted to ask you guys though is for the guys that are listening in that don't have the time to get to the gym often or maybe even at all, right? What type of food should they be eating? Now, obviously, if they want to get more zoom in and at the cellular level, they're going to call you guys. We're going to tell them they got to call RevolutioniZe. But just to showcase your guys, expertise in it. What should they be eating?
Yeah, it's going to sound boring. It's going to sound not exciting. But
This is not sexy
simple,
at all.
No.
simple, clean, whole foods.
Yeah.
Focus on getting 20 to 30 grams of protein each time you have a real meal.
Yep.
That's going to make sure you have something real on the plate. It's going to get some vitamins and minerals in there.
Yeah.
It's going to fill you up as well. No one ever got fat off veggies.
True.
Unless they're soaked in copious
well,
amounts
that's
of
a good
oil.
point too. Watch the oils. But chicken and broccoli never made anyone fat. Big on the 80-20 rule. If 4 out of your 5 meals are pretty clean, whole foods, you can have McDonald's with the kids and you'll be okay.
Right.
So it's really picking your spots. If I had to give one overarching thing, it would be more water, less alcohol.
Sorry, bro.
Sorry. So whatever your comfort level is, I always like to say, what's your comfort level? Like, Randy, do you want to have a 6-pack? I'm like, honestly, my soda and Chinese food goes a long way for me right now.
Yes.
I feel healthy. I can move. I'm good.
Yeah, right. Right. Dude, I want Chinese right now. You just said that.
Yeah, say
I want some fucking lo mein.
Yeah.
So I'm just ordering right
I
after
want
we
some
leave.
shrimp lo mein.
Yeah, if your doctor's not yelling at you, have fun.
Yeah. But you know what, though, on that point, though, too, so two things. One, I definitely appreciate that. Most people, shout out to Eat Clean Bro for this. Like, most people don't have the time to do it either.
Yeah,
right. Like, so, like,
I use them.
Yeah, I do too. So, like, getting a good company like Eat Clean Bro to help you with getting, meals at your door ready to go is good. But on a quick side note, like one of the things that I did learn in the pandemic when everyone was going Peloton crazy, like, by the way, which they're fucking like going bankrupt.
Yeah, they went from, they should have.
Are they?
Yeah.
This is news to
They're
me.
laying off the company, right? Like,
they're no, they're
I'm Googling
really,
this later.
really bad, right? But the whole thing though was like the founder sold all of his properties. Like he's literally going bankrupt.
Oh
right
shit!
now.
So
he's like going broke right
so
now.
he's trying to save it.
So this guy on the Peloton, he's on this podcast. He's saying how like literally like. He's like, I can't go to my bank right now and like take out $1,000. Like, that's where he's at right now.
Talk about the face of adversity.
We both took a drink on that one. He was like, fucking
Feel that, yeah.
We've all been in a rough
We've all
spot.
been in that
Hey,
spot where it's like,
dude, that's a shitty fucking spot to be in. We've all been
We're
there.
talking
been there.
about, should I put my IRA money in the business?
Yeah.
Everybody just sees success. They don't see the bullshit that went on behind the
No.
scenes, right?
Dude.
And like the times you're like, am I going to do this?
The only reason
We've all had it.
why I continued to do this podcast in the beginning, I did it. I was like, all right, let me sit down with like cool, interesting people.
Yeah.
But then this started to become like AA meetings for me. Like, because of business owners talking to each other, like, understanding like what we're going through, like
You're in it
all that
together.
shit. Like no people don't understand it, right? So when you sit down, like we feel crazy. It's like we're like in an AA meeting. It's like,
Well, it's like when someone's like,
guys.
how's business? The answer is always, it's fucking great. Yeah. You could be like, I owe everyone money and no one's paying me. But
Dude, it's so
True though.
But
when you sit down with another business owner, they say the same thing, and you're like, I'm not alone.
No. So like, holy shit. Fucking
and that's it. You play, you're always robbing Peter to pay Paul, and you're like, wait, everyone else is doing that too?
Great.
But so Peloton, anyway, the whole thing about Peloton I brought up, that was phenomenal, by the way. That was gold. Take that timestamp down, right? But the whole thing, though, is at the end of the day, it's like, when you look at Peloton, when we got the Peloton in the house, I said to my wife, I was like, this is guaranteed that fucking clothes rack.
So you knew it was going to be.
I told everybody, it's just going to be a hanger. It's just a hanger.
It literally just sat there and just like a dust blanket. But in the beginning, when we first got it, she was amped up, I was amped up, like, fuck it. And it taught me, though, back to what you guys were saying earlier, that so even when I was home, because like, my days were jam-packed, especially at that point, from like 4 or 5 a.m. to like 11 p.m.
Shit.
Because we have clients in 20 countries. So I'm like up talking to China at this time, London 6 hours ahead of us. So it's like there's so many different things. So fast forward, I was like, all right, I have to allocate like some time. So but Peloton had a 10-minute like workout.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I had my iWatch, like my calories burned like 300 calories or whatever it was. So that's your point, like whether it's 30 minutes or whatever. It's like, dude, as long as you do that, and the one thing I'm gonna fucking drop a promo here. Zuckerberg better fucking throw me some cash for this one. Zuck wants some
Let's go,
cash.
Zuck.
Speaking of jiu-jitsu, he likes jiu-jitsu, man.
I think no PR team's done a better job than Zuckerberg.
100%. But so my wife got the Meta Quest for me like 2 years ago, right? And so I'm like playing around with this thing, and this boxing game, right, comes out. And I'm sitting there and I'm messing around with it. And I'm like, all right, this is cool. And the next thing you know, I sweat my ass off. She got it for me for Christmas. I was like in like an outfit like this, and I'm drenched. I'm like, oh my God. And I normally don't wear like eye watches or whatever if I'm working out, like timepieces. But so I'm like, I had to go home and see on my iWatch how many calories I burned. So the first one I did like 2 or 3 rounds of fights. So it was like probably like 20 minutes.
Oh, that's
no, I'm lying. Probably like 10 or 15.
That's still a good amount of time.
And it said I burnt like 600 calories.
Jesus.
And I was drenched. And I was like, holy shit. And no joke, because at the time, I don't know why. Like, so growing up, and we'll talk about mental health in a bit. But I've had anxiety disorder for a majority of my life, right? Because of my beautiful genetic predispositions on top of my parents' turbulence. So that was fun. So
it's a ride,
right? So, but it was the weirdest thing. So, like, my whole life, I've always, no joke, like. I've loved working out. I worked out since like 12 years old. My mom's like, yeah, you can now or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I was doing football and stuff. To like literally probably like I was like 23 or 24 is when I stopped doing it seriously. But so for a majority of my life, but I was always anxious in the gym. I don't know why. So I always had this like level of anxiety going into the gym. Don't know why. I just felt anxious. And anyway, long story short, like, you know, you're sitting there and you're like, I want to grow. I want to get healthy and whatever else. And everybody has their own different challenges and whatever. And the biggest thing that I learned though, like, was like, you know, when I started to do the boxing thing, it's like during COVID, I put a whole complete gym in my house.
Oh.
So I have like the whole like cable towers and like everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I have the whole gym now. So like, I have no fucking excuse.
It's a dream.
So right, so I'm like, I'm doing this fucking thing. So I literally get it all set up. I'm working out consistently. So for now, since 2024, I've been working out at minimum 3 days a week, right? Like at least.
That's perfect.
Yeah. But I don't like it though. Like I don't like when I was younger. It's like, yeah, chicks need my fucking biceps.
I could
like I'm gonna be at Jenks.
100% relatable.
I'm like I'm at Jenks to be checking me out. And like now I don't give a fuck. I'm like I just don't care. Why am I doing this right now? And so but back to the whole boxing thing. So like the thing is like with the boxing component, like when I'm working out and I get a good workout in like that, it's so much better for my mental too.
Yes.
You know, like they speak to each other, the mind and divine issue.
Yes.
I couldn't agree more with that. Like that was, you know, I put a lot of weight between some mental health struggles and just COVID bullshit. So before I tried to get back into lifting again,
right?
Same thing happened. I just wasn't getting the same.
You can't get it. You don't have the same passion.
I wasn't leaving there like
either.
on top of the world. I didn't give a shit. So I gotta find something. So for me, it was the jiu-jitsu. I got back into that, and I got the same high. I walked out of there feeling good.
Dude, yeah,
I got you know any aggression. It just all your focus is there.
Right, you get stoked again.
Yeah,
and like obviously again, like you know you get stoked still with lifting.
100%.
Yeah,
For me, like, it just does nothing for me.
For me to see him feel good leading those classes was amazing.
Well,
'Cause I hadn't seen that from him since I first met him.
Right.
It was so awesome.
Yeah, because I was getting frustrated back then. I'm like, Michelle, I'm like, you really get the you know the endorphins when you get out of here? She's like, yeah, I feel amazing. I'm like, what's wrong with me?
Right.
Yeah, it just wasn't your thing.
Yeah, I was over. So I'm like, a couple of my clients went to this Hollis Gracie in Old Bridge.
Yeah.
Come with us. I'm like, all right, it's a trip for me, but I'm like, I got people there that kind of send social anxiety.
Yes.
So people like welcome you in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this is awesome, and just you get hooked.
Yeah, dude. And the one thing I'll say too, though, it's like everybody, like I always say this in business. I'm like, you have to find your why.
Yes.
Because business is tough. So
Yes.
like, when you have a shitty week, a month, a shitty year, like you need to be clinging on to that fucking why.
It's
Right, there's got to
so
you got to
damn
want to
sure.
keep that because.
And I lost my why for like being in a gym and working out.
Yeah.
Like to me, you know, and like again, like going back to like, and I could be totally wrong in saying this, right? But I'm gonna say 95%. I'm just gonna speak on behalf of the dudes here. 95% of the dudes, including Robbie Bud Lights, right? like we all, and I'm in the same boat. Like we all were at one point, right? It's like almost like it's like we're animals, right?
Yeah.
You gotta look best to me, right?
Right.
So when we're in the gym,
You got to get those feathers looking good.
exactly, right?
Plumage.
Nice peacock, right? But it's like,
Peacocking.
right? But the thing is, like, you know, once you're like in a serious, that's why everyone's. It's like, oh, I got in a serious relationship. Why'd you stop working out? Or why did I stop working? It's like, dude, because you're not out there hunting anymore.
Right.
You're not in the jungle anymore, bro.
Is that a guy thing? Is that a
100%.
thing?
100%.
We see with girls too, because we contest pet people.
Yeah.
We have some people who are animals, and all of a sudden they get in a relationship and they're happy. They're the worst guys I've ever met. They quit, they're done.
He's a good recent example too, though, because him and his girlfriend broke up. My man's running laps on Snapchat, working out. He's back. He ain't doing it no more. I swear to God. Like, but it's not you. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. It's the
So-
most recent example.
Yeah, you just
But-
it just is.
You know what I'm saying? And like, but it's funny. Like, it's like, and my brother, but one of my brothers,
Yeah.
like, they're single recently again. Now this guy's in the gym at 5 a.m. Like, bro,
That's
the
my-
gym has been there.
my
The
younger-
gym has been there.
been there.
What?
My younger brother, he's a wrestling coach. He's a smaller guy, so even when he was in All-American
Yeah.
college at 125.
Right. Oh my goodness.
So a smaller guy, but
Yeah.
always really fit. You know, he never got above like 160. He's
Okay.
with his girlfriend now about 2 years. All of a sudden, he's got a little belly. Me and him are the same weight. I'm like, what's going on?
You know, sleeping a little later, food's a little
Yeah.
better. You know?
And he's been coach dressed like the Marlboro High School, and it's like, the season will come to lose his weight, but the rest of the year, right. I'm like, what's going on, bro?
He's like Patty from fucking UFC.
Yes, yeah.
Patty puts on like 100 pounds off season.
Yeah, he's doing that right
God.
now. I'm like, bro.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like
You got to find the thing that you like to do for yourself.
He bartended teaching this one, but it doesn't help.
right.
That's true.
Wait, a serious question though. So because obviously you're really still into the gym.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
What drives you?
It's for me and no one else.
Right.
That's the difference. So like,
But is it aesthetic? You're like looking back to me like, yeah, fuck yeah.
It's my peace. So like I have a very loud life.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yep.
So when I'm there, I don't like working out with people. I'm a lone wolf. It's my me time because I'm constantly giving to everybody else.
Are you like zoned in headset like
Fuck yeah.
like Granny, get the fuck off of me?
The music,
Yeah, like
the
she's
music.
the point where you can be like, she's a bitch.
Yeah, like if you were to look at me, it looks like I'm going to go to battle. I got
Right.
like heavy metal just blaring in my ears.
going.
And-
Slipknot.
But then I take it off and I'm just like, okay. Then I put it out and I'm like, oh my god.
One time you killed that guy at the gym.
Oh well, yeah, he deserved it.
What happened? You killed somebody in the gym?
There was an older gentleman who was continuously making very. Now, all right, I'm a raunchy fucking person.
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
say
yeah.
fucked up stuff all
Right,
the time.
right.
But this guy was just over the top and saying remarks to me and my client repetitively. And like to me, like I'm there to
Give me a sample. What was one of the things he said?
Well, he asked. He asked my client when she was doing bend over rows to stay there. He's like, "Oh, I like that. I'm gonna come up behind you. Yeah,
What?
keep doing that."
Like, what you talking about?
That's outrageous.
That was,
It was
and
outrageous.
he was just like fucking drooling. He's like, "I like that. Keep doing that again." And I turned around and like I'm not a confrontational person.
Yeah.
I'm a very friendly person. I don't raise my voice. I don't get angry. And the whole gym turned and looked
It was
at
a Planet
me.
Fitness, by the
At
way,
Planet
just for
Fitness.
context.
And
lung clogg's
I
going on.
lost my shit. I was just like, get the fuck out of here. Like I just
Right.
snapped. I saw red. Actually, I think I threw my client into the wall.
Well,
by
she
accident.
exaggerated. She's like, yeah, Michelle.
I kind of pushed her to the side gently.
Yeah.
In my head, it was gentle,
Right.
and I just went for the guy.
Right.
But according to my client, she over exaggerated. She's like, Michelle, you like picked me up and threw me up against the wall.
You freaking hulked me.
I charged this guy. It was hysterical. But like I lost it, and
Right.
afterwards, I was just like, oh, sorry, everybody. Sorry, thanks. And after
As she gets arrested at Planet Fitness.
I had 5 women come up to me after that, thanking me
Because
because
of him?
he was harassing all of them also, and they were like, "Thank you so
What?
much for saying something."
What a creep.
We've made complaints to the front, and nobody's done anything
And
about
this wasn't one
guy.
of those cases where a guy was just being nice.
No,
Right.
like,
This
it
was
was
like she was telling me like, holy
there were other things he was saying too, and I like just over and over again, and like you just kept.
Was
to
you
the
think
point.
there's something wrong with him?
No,
Or he's just
I
pervert?
just think that
kept
he's
getting away with it?
because he's an older guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Like how old are we talking?
He's probably in his
40,
70s.
What?
No, he's probably in his
70s?
70s, I'd have to guess.
He was really going with I'm old and no one's gonna say anything.
Yeah, like fuck it.
But ever since
Damn.
he hasn't said jack.
I
to
wait
me,
till
so-
I can't wait till I can be a dirty old man and just say
Yeah, right? Like
Stop
what?
it.
And sorry for dropping the F-bomb multiple times here, but just keeping it real.
No, we drop F-bombs too much.
Keeping it real,
We
guys.
got
They-
called with that for the elite, the elevate thing, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, all
no,
of
they
us.
I got in
Like-
trouble.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
too.
The only feedback that I have was the dropping the F-bombs. Like,
Same. I'm like,
shit.
listen, I talk with passion, okay? Just
yeah. Next time I say, it, I'm like, "What's up, fuckers?"
Now we got that out of the way.
Yeah, no. But damn, it's like this is the thing, right? So actually, this is a good point to bring up because so many times on TikTok, right, you see like chicks in the gym, right, wearing like crazy spandex stuff.
Yeah, the absurd
Everything is
stuff.
showing.
Yep.
Nothing's not on display.
Yep.
And then they'll get pissed off because the guy's looking
Yeah,
at
It's
something.
and this was not,
porn,
and that's,
no?
where I
Right.
was, and that's where I was like, I'm like, okay, and I know the way she dressed at the gym, like, so it wasn't that, like,
No.
Right.
the worst time was the sports bra leggings.
Yeah.
It's not those like one-piece jumpsuit
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, I'm not
Usually
even
in,
talking
like-
about her anymore. But what I'm saying, though, what I'm asking
Yeah.
you particularly, because obviously you're
got
you're
you.
a woman, and so when you're in the gym, which I'm sure you get uncomfortable looks from people constantly and stuff like that, but you're in the zone, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, how do you typically handle it? Like when you're like in that position, like where, like, and again, I don't obviously know what you wear to the gym or don't.
I think-
But if you actually, hold on, let me
Yeah,
pause
go
a
for
second.
it.
If you see somebody else that's a girl dressed like that, right, like super, like she's on display in a gym, right, and then like somebody's making a comment, do you feel? What's your take on it?
Okay.
I'm
It's
just
so funny.
purely curious.
No, it's so interesting because there's so many different like angles to this.
There is.
I think personally people don't do it to me because I scare the shit out of them when they're in the gym. They're like, this chick means business.
Yeah.
You don't wear the outfits that he's trying to
Yeah, and I'm not there like gawking over myself in the mirror. You know what I mean?
Your makeup's not done.
Yeah, I look like a rabid animal. So, but with girls, like, I mean, listen, if you're going to dress a certain way, I do think you have to know people are going to look. You know, it is what it is. You can't help it. I do think guys need to be careful with what they say because
they shouldn't be perverted.
Yeah, like I
100%.
I personally don't think there's something wrong with saying, "Hey, I see you working hard. You look great. Keep up the good work. That's awesome." I think there's a way to say things.
Agreed.
And then there's a creepy way to say things. But as a woman, you look good. You're wearing a revealing outfit. You may expect compliments or comments like that.
Right.
But I think that there is a way that you can accept a compliment graciously.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Versus somebody being. I mean, I hope nobody would come up behind you and be like, "Yo, I want to get on you." You know what I mean?
Like,
I hope no one would do that.
Yeah.
I have not personally seen or heard something like that happening to somebody unless he's a 70-something-year-old man.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is because on TikTok, there's so many videos like this.
Yeah.
And it's like so crazy. And obviously, like I have a daughter, very, very 6-month-old daughter.
But it's ready in your head.
Right. It's ready. She's wearing a baggy sweatshirt to the gym.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, I'm almost concerned for like a lot of these women's like well-being because like you also don't know who's watching you in the gym.
You don't know.
And they're like looking at you and seeing all these different things
and they don't have
in your
to
car.
say a thing to you.
No.
They're creepy in the shadow.
Dude,
I think in my experience, I've been in the industry 20-some years now.
Yeah.
When it comes to creeps and women at the gym, it hasn't mattered to me. What I've seen if the girl was wearing some promiscuous, totally buttoned up, or whatever. Usually the guys that I found were stalkers, there was no rhyme or reason. They just latched on.
True.
They followed the front desk girl to her car after.
Yeah.
They became overly friendly with you they see you every day and you're just a normal, polite person.
Right. It's just crazy.
Creeps are going to creep.
Yeah. You're there no matter what you're wearing. Creeps are going to
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But again, there are, like when I used to wear my stringer to the gym, I wanted girls to say something. They wanted did. But so I assume in reverse, if the girls are wearing the women's version of a stringer, they're looking for a positive attention in a nice way.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, that's a male point of view.
But then you do have like girls that have like OnlyFans pages who are like sitting, dropping on the floor, like humping the floor, like obviously they're putting on an effing show.
The owner came over
And he came over. He's like,
get out of here.
He's like, I know what you're doing. She's like, what? I'm not doing anything. And he was like, I know what you're doing. Don't do that in my gym. And like that's understandable. Like no, you shouldn't be.
Wait,
doing
time out. We have to talk about this, right?
Yes.
I'm glad that Michelle brought up OnlyFans.
Yes.
No, I'm kidding. But the thing is,
I have an account. Just kidding.
Revolutionize OnlyFans. but the one thing though,
it's really just me.
In a bikini, like
get it. But
pays the bills.
That's what we got to do. We need to put the content out there so people think that they're coming to see me, but when they pay, it's Randy.
It's Randy's like, "What's up, babies?" But one of the things though, that OnlyFans though, I heard this the other day and I was mortified. So like when you hear like people on OnlyFans, we only see the top stars, on it, right? That you see in the public. It's like, oh, this girl's making $1 million a month or something crazy, right?
Yes.
Like that. What's that girl's name? That was on Dr. Phil, Batty.
Oh, the bad. She's like loaded now.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
She made so to date on OnlyFans, she made $68 million.
Yeah, it was crazy. And they showed her.
She's no expenses. Imagine
they
no
showed
expenses.
her invoice, and it was like, what?
Like she's no expenses.
Like,
How do I do
was
that?
crazy. Like the amount she made from like the top number, what OnlyFans made off her was nuts.
They made like 20 mil off her.
Yeah.
Right. Like I forget their fees are, but but long story short though, so like one of my buddies like we were like talking, and he was like, dude, so insane. This one girl that's from our town like started an OnlyFans. I'm like, no way. Are you kidding me? They started an OnlyFans, and then we started talking about it. And we're like, dude, because like these girls see that like that girl.
Yeah.
Right? Like I want to make $1 million, right?
Right.
Like, or whatever, right? It's like, all right, cool. But like what? Just like business. 99% of these people don't ever make any money.
Yeah.
But guess what? Now their neighbor, their teachers, all see them because like they're just curious.
Right.
Oh, $9 just to see what she looks like
Yep.
or he looks like.
Yep.
And it's like boom, and now it's a more like they don't talk about it, but there's so many people who have like just gone off the cliff.
Yep.
Right. Because they went on, and now all the local people in their town
And that's who you are
seen
now.
them naked, and they made no money.
Yep.
And now you go do
How do
a
you feel?
job.
How do you feel about that?
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's like, what? And then
It's a
anywhere you go,
mindfuck.
it's different. Like, oh, blah, blah made, a sex tape versus like, yo, she's an OnlyFans star.
You're right.
Yes.
And it never took
not
off.
getting paid.
Yes.
everybody local now knows it's underneath the hood.
Yes.
But she ain't gonna get money.
And then you go for a job, and they're going to look you up, and you're not going to get the job.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, even if you do, it's just a thing that people are going to
I've seen
be
teachers
aware
get
of now.
fired.
Well, yeah,
Like,
a lot of teachers actually. But again, really, the story should be teacher doesn't have enough money, needs to make OnlyFans.
Yeah, but you always, that's the thing. You always see these things where it's like these like teachers like are like whatever with children, like high schoolers. We'll say high schoolers, right?
Yes.
And I'm always like, how come they never approached me?
No,
what the fuck? Why did these teachers look at Johnny?
Look at himself in the mirror like, what about me?
They've got to be fake. They're like two teachers approached a 16-year-old for threesome. I'm like, what?
Where was my approach, teach? Like,
I just had my wrestling coach punching me in the face. Like,
yeah.
That's not the
And
same.
anyway, and to be totally transparent again, like to be clear. I'm saying high school, right? I'm saying like, when you're at the age enough where you're like, what's happening.
I think we're all on the same page.
And like when you see like the crazy part too is like it's always kind of like the most recent one I saw recently. Like the teacher was like a great looking teacher. She was like a smoke show.
They're not like.
And I'm like, dude. Like, and by the way, so she's getting prosecuted, and she's all over the news. And behind the scenes, the dude's like, "Yo, you smacked the teacher!"
Right? It's like
this guy's the man.
Yeah, it's true
like,
though.
Whoa.
It's true.
Like two
no one's
complete
getting bullied for that.
Right? Dude, like this guy's the man.
That woman's life is ruined.
Right? And it's terrible.
And I gotta say, like, how dumb do you have to be?
Right? It's like,
I mean,
dude.
listen, come on. Like,
With all the apps that exist right now, like Tinder, this, that, whatever.
You can't happen to me.
It's
That's
so
the
hard to
thing.
do any crime now.
You can't do any crime
You
now.
can't do crimes like this.
You cannot. You cannot.
Like the shit I did as a kid cannot happen now.
Nope.
Done.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never forget this. Like, in the past, I used to be an idiot. Like, there's a couple times where I got into fights at bars.
Yeah.
Being stupid. And it's like, back then, like, you just got kicked out, or like they couldn't find you because you run away, right?
That was
in the crowd.
The worst case was you got kicked out. Like,
Right. And now it's like, we have you on camera, you're being sued, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, all this stuff is crazy.
Yep.
But, so, to tie this back into nutrition.
I digress.
How do we go back there? But all right. So nonetheless, like, what is one thing that you would say? So I asked you the question for the dad side, or like the guy side. For you on your side, for women who are like, hey, I'm a mom, I can't work out, like tough to eat good, like whatever. Like, what would be your advice for them?
I think that again, the best thing is time management, right? So having good time management, knowing that it's okay to make time for yourself, even if it's 30 minutes, like what we were saying before. People are like, I can't spend hours in the gym. I'm like, who the hell's telling you spend hours in the gym? No, I don't have the attention span to even do that.
Right.
But just it's okay. It's not selfish to make time for yourself. If you're 100%, you can give 100%. Otherwise, what happens is it backfires, and a lot of women are filled with a lot of resentment. Because they're giving, and they're not taking care of themselves. So make that 30 minutes for yourself, even if it's time for meditation, for a walk. I don't care. It doesn't have to necessarily be the gym. Make that time to meal prep. The more you prepare in advance, the more successful you're going to be.
Right.
So instead of scrolling on TikTok for an hour, go prepare some meals,
Right,
And honestly, everything cooks itself. You throw a bunch of stuff on a sheet pan, you throw it in the oven, you can multitask and do a bunch of other things while that's cooking. You don't have to be, over a stovetop for hours.
True.
So there's so many easy methods to cook.
Right.
There's efficient ways to train, and you can take care of yourself, and you'll feel so much better for it, and be able to give 100% to everybody else.
Is there any vitamins that you guys like? Boom, you got to take these vitamins.
Multivitamin.
Yeah, you don't have to cover your base with a multi. Make sure your B's and D's are good, but
get blood works. Make sure there's no deficiencies.
But honestly, no super dose or whatever they used to call them, super dosing or anything.
Yeah.
Mostly everyone's pretty much vitamin D deficient, so you probably need vitamin D.
Check that
Take
out.
your multi.
I like vitamin C for immune health.
But if you're eating a whole balanced diet,
What does vitamin D do?
it's just going to help it almost everything.
Really?
There's a lot of internal stuff going on.
Inflammation. It kind of helps everything else. So it's one of those that's just like really good to have.
Helps
and most
other
of us
things
just
be
aren't. I'm
soluble.
never in the sun. So,
Yeah.
and even if you are, most of us have it low.
And
Right.
and I do like taking a zinc magnesium aspartate before I go to sleep. It just helps me get a better night's sleep. It aids in recovery, and then I can be, I could kick ass the next day.
Right.
So, yeah.
With a bottle of wine.
I
just get it.
That not so much. I wake up the next day like,
With a half edible.
half an edible.
Half an Eddie.
little
Now, do you guys drink it all or zero drinking?
Glass of champagne at a wedding type of deal.
Yeah, I might
dude.
drink like 4 times a year. It just doesn't
Wow.
work well with my brain chemistry. I am.
I couldn't get through the year. How do you do it?
I'm always at a constant half an edible buzz though.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
okay.
a little,
I just can't handle the whole world raw dogging. My mental health meds and that. And
Boom. Got you.
And I think for me, like I have ADHD, it's very hard for me to be present and lock in. So anything that's going to make that worse, it actually frustrates me. So when everybody else is like trying to find things to like calm their mind and escape me, I'm like, I'm trying to focus in. So I like being present. To be honest,
Are you Adderall?
Yeah, but even that, like I will only take that as needed, and that might be twice a week at half my dose because I don't like the crash. I don't like becoming dependent on things. Then my tolerance goes up. So like I have a whole thing for me too.
You know what to do.
I like raw dog and my ADHD. I fucking
person.
love
Not
it.
med
I
person.
love the hyperfixations I get, and I love the space cadet that I become. So I like the roller coaster of the ADHD. Not everybody likes it, and also sometimes I have to fight that when I need to zone in on
I want to talk about work.
Yeah, and he's like, Michelle, I need you here focus, and I'm like, right.
He's like, take this.
Please take your.
We're like, I've already given her the pitch 3 times, and after the 4th time repeating, I'm going to kill you.
That's like me and my wife with our weekend plans. She's like, I fucking told you we're going pumpkin. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Right.
I do talk like, I'll put it in my schedule. If it's not in my schedule, it's not existing.
In addition, though, like I have no filter. I am wild. So when other people drink, they come to my level, and I'm like, yeah, keep drinking that. That's great. You enjoy that because I'm like, now that they're gonna open up, and
boom.
That's how I am when I'm sober.
Love
People
it.
hate when I say that probably, but like it is. I'm a fucking maniac.
So, no, you're great energy. You do. Thank you. So, all right. So, in ending here, so this is where I gotta put you guys on the spot.
I like it.
So I have 2 difficult questions that we always ask. Okay. We have the tough one and the mild one. It's not quite spicy.
I take it.
So I'll let you guys decide who gets what.
All right.
You guys are pick.
Oh Jesus!
You pick who gets
I'll
what.
take the tough one.
You want a tough one? You take the tough one. Watch, he's fooling us. He's gonna give me the tough one.
No, now that you took the bullet, you're fucking getting. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. But all right, so we'll start with you, Ben, with the tough one. Okay. So typically in business, obviously, people look at business for a bunch of different things, but one thing is like legacy, right? Like what impact did I make while I was here and whatever else. And typically when we do that, the measurement is like looking from where your feet are planted here today in Point Pleasant Beach, right, to, the future, right? So in this it's kind of like an exercise, but like the way I like to leverage this is reverse engineer it, right? So I kind of give it a simulation, right? Okay. So if somebody like in your family, right? Because obviously, do you want kids?
Not right now, but
Okay, so let's so for this example,
some random orphan who'll inherit my place.
There we go.
All the Willy Wonka golden ticket.
Here you go. But so anyway, I like to use a simulation, right? And so obviously right now you don't have kids or whatever yet, but or maybe even an orphan yet, but so is there some like who's like really important to you like on your like do you have siblings or anything?
I have a niece, yeah.
Oh, a niece, right? Yeah. So if your niece, we're picturing this now in the future. Mm-hmm. So if your niece was there and she's with her kids looking at your gravestone, right? And she goes, "Man, I wish you met Uncle Randy. He was a bastard." What would she say about you?
So hopefully, money comes and goes, success comes and goes.
Yeah.
So as much as I want to say, man, he was super successful and left us a lot of money, and that was great. Right. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But especially in our business, I think it's he was able to change so many people's lives.
Right.
People that come to us 10 years ago, and we hear from them 10 years later randomly, I lost all that weight with you, I'm so healthy, I finally met the girl of my dreams, guy of my dreams, I can do the life I want to live. So I feel like with specifically our business, our legacy is really the small stories.
Yeah.
The lives we touch day in, day out.
Right.
And I think that's the legacy I'd want to leave, because I feel like the more people's lives you change positively,
right,
obviously that's going to be a successful business model.
Yeah, true. But now, but for you and your personality and character, what would she say?
Hard to say.
Like he was blank, right?
Yeah, he was passionate. He was passionate.
Yeah, passionate.
Like he was not going to take no for an answer.
Right.
Like if he had a goal, he was going to see it through to the end, good idea or bad.
Right. Michelle's like, he was argumentative.
Confrontation.
Well,
No, he's right. He's right.
I come from
It comes from passion.
I come from an Italian Jewish household.
There
so
you
it was a
go.
Bible household.
Yeah. Oh my God. So you're getting your point across.
Yes. You had to fight for the attention.
Yeah. All right. So now on your that was good. That's good. So on your side, Michelle. So has there been any? So in business, obviously, as entrepreneurs, we have to be resilient, right? We're constantly in business. We're already up against so much from the start, right? Finances, happy people, getting new customers, payroll, blah, 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 right? So all those things. So has there been any quotes or adages that when it comes to like being resilient and, you know, and rising above, you know, the toughness, you know, of owning a business that stands with you? It could be a Michele OG.
Dude, I mean, there's two ways. Like, the first thing I remember my boss before RevolutioniZe had told me, and this, you know, I go different directions with this, but he was like, Michele, you're on stage at all times. He goes, if you're having a bad day, no one can know that, right? So if you're struggling, your employees don't know that. Your members don't know that. No one knows that. Like, you just keep being the best that you can be and know people are watching you. So I think that's really important. In the whole like being resilient and being persistent is to make sure that the people around you have that positive energy going at them always. So that's super important. I don't have any quotes off the top of my head right now.
That's
where you're good. Yep.
So when somebody doesn't have a quote off the top of their head, they have to do an original right now.
I love it.
Well, I'll just say,
live, laugh, love, guys.
She's fired from RevolutioniZe.
Mine's just gonna be fuck motivation. Just do your job.
Like, I love it.
Well, I used to have.
I love that one actually. Seriously, that's
we
a
have
good
it
one.
on a t-shirt.
At our old building.
Fucking cheater.
Yeah. At our old building, we used to have right before you walked into the offices. It was from Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
It was the only thing standing between you and your goals is your bullshit.
Bullshit. Yes.
And I
Yes.
loved it because everyone's like, "Oh, it's a nice quote." I'm like, "Here, Wolf of Wall Street."
It's a Randy original.
It's like, but I think the biggest thing is like it's always going to be you versus you, and no matter what's going on around you, like expect the unexpected, prepare for the unexpected, prepare for nothing to go according to plan, and you just have to be able to pivot and adapt constantly.
All pun intended.
All pun intended. Adapting social.
But you know what? I love that, and honestly, it's great that we went that direction. And because I think one of the biggest things, guys, like owning a business and like just dealing with all the different elements, right? It's like there's a lot of terrain in business, right? Mental, physical, emotional, it's everything, right? But the thing is like, I have like a little program where I'm always constantly like mentoring like newer businesses or businesses that are like going out of business and shit. And one of these newer entrepreneurs that I'm mentoring right now in the city, he's like going through it now, and it's tough. Like I remember being there, right? But my big thing, I'm a tough love guy.
Yes.
I'm not like so I'm not like, oh, I'm so sorry you're going through this. I'm like, dude, fuck yeah, you're going through this. Like this is like all of our problems. I mean, this in life and in business are tailor made for us.
Yeah.
There's nothing that comes to us that's against us. It's all for us to make us better, right?
Yep.
So we're having this conversation, and he's just like, it's like, I just want to be able to be here and stuff. And I'm like, dude, anybody at this table, and including him, respect in this world, we respect them because they went through something.
Yes.
Right? And they came out on the other side. You rarely respect somebody who had a golden spoon in their mouth and a silver up their ass.
Yeah.
Like you only care and respect the people who are like, damn, that's impressive. They went through that bullshit and look at them rise, right? Like that's what you care about. And that's why I like what you're saying, because at the end of the day, it's like, dude, the rah-rah bullshit motivation, whatever, that will only ever get anybody so far.
Right.
Yeah.
And trust me, I know that it's cringy, but in the beginning of my career, right? Because I'm a forever insane optimist. I don't care what circumstance I'm in.
You have to be, though.
I'm like, fucking, let's find the silver lining somewhere. There's
Absolutely.
a light somewhere.
I think the more business owners you meet, the more are.
And that's where opportunity lies, though. It's
Correct.
like, this
Those
is a
people
shitty
can't see
situation, but what can I do about it? I can't focus on the cans. I got to focus on the
Focus on the
can.
negatives. What are you going to do? I can't change that.
Yeah. But what can I do?
Right.
What can I do?
Right. What can you do?
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's like, we find ourselves always in these tough positions in business. And so it's like, looking at those circumstances, what I wound up doing was, when I first started, I was like, I got to find this quote, which is like, ask this question.
Yeah.
And so it's live a few years of your life like most people won't.
I love that one.
So you can live the rest of your life like most people can't.
You used to say it all the time.
Yeah.
All the
so
time.
I found that in like 2008, and I printed it and I put it when I was living home with my mom. I put it on the wall. And fast forward, I've had that everywhere that I've gone, and I've always brought that with me, because what that means to me is that if you are going to be successful in being healthy and relationships and working out or in business, any of those things, it's going to suck before it gets better.
It does.
But and there's also different levels and seasons of your business. So it's not like, oh, it never sucks again because you got better. It's like, no, it's going to keep happening.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Which is tough.
There's a similar quote I like, which I feel like, I don't want to be old grump here, but I feel like some of the younger generation may not be getting on this as much anymore.
Right.
And again, take a grain of salt. I always like the quote of, do more than you're paid, and you'll be paid more than you do.
Fucking facts. Fucking facts.
And again, it's always comes and goes.
Dude, honestly, you just spoke to my soul. Hold on.
Take it in.
Like,
I'll be right back, guys, after this brief message.
It's like,
Thank you.
It's like, I'm careful with saying that. It's like, don't be taken advantage of.
Right.
But show your value.
But you can't. But back to that. Oh my God. But the thing is, though, is that like when I started AS and that's my first business, and I'm sure with you guys too. Like, I did everything for fucking nothing. I did everything for free.
Yeah.
I made no money for the first few years. I grinded. I was up early. I was home super fucking late. Like, I did all those things. And to your point, you can't get taken advantage of if you're showing that you're all in it and that you're good. You become an asset. You can't be taken advantage of.
Right.
Because as a business, businesses need certain resources. Right? And if somebody makes himself such a crazy resource, right? If Rob makes himself such a crazy resource and doesn't keep fucking up here with me today, right? then he becomes an asset.
Yes.
Right? And it's impossible to be taken advantage of, because if you become an asset, you don't want to lose that person.
No, that's the old saying is, what's the best way to get promotion? Make sure you're invaluable to your boss. Make his day easier.
Right.
Instead of, it sounds
so
cheesy,
I'm vibing. I'm riding your wave. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Because I don't want to be like mean, like go to work in the summer in the warehouse, Jeff Bezos style. But
you're not sweating enough.
But like, there's something in the middle. There's something in the middle.
But that's the point. So like, I really resonate with that. And then but back to listen. And honestly, I'm gonna say this, and because I don't give a fuck. But like, the thing is like, the generation that's coming up right now, I love what Dana White said, where he's like, listen, the world we live in, this new generation, they're fucking soft. And it's the truth, though. I'm sorry to say it, they are. And again, millennials, we're in that, right?
And we were called soft. We were called soft first.
Of course, right. We were the softies first. Thank you. And now Gen Zs are the ultra downy fresh soft.
Right. Ultra downy.
The quilter picker up, but they're super soft. And listen, it's not everybody, but it just leaves room, and I love it. Like when somebody's like, dude, how the fuck are you like growing this company to where it is? It's like, dude, I'm willing to do shit people are not willing to do.
Correct.
Like, I will get on a plane and go buy this guy fucking season tickets and like go do this, go whatever. I'll
just
go
to make the connections.
Right. I'm gonna go there, right?
Yeah.
And most people are not willing to do that. They want to stay behind their computer. They want to go network. They want to talk. Right. So it's like, but that's the biggest thing is like the world we live in right now. Like, the only way that you're gonna stand out is everybody. Like, dude, like the other day, me and my wife. Actually, it's not the other day. We went probably last time we got on our date night because the kids was probably like fucking like 12 years ago. But our last date night, went to the restaurant, and again, like I told you guys, I like the party.
Yes.
So I'm getting ready to go out, right? And we pull up to the restaurant, and we walk up, and I'm always the dude, like, I love talking to everybody. My wife is like so annoyed by this. Like, you're on a date with me.
Pay attention to me.
Yeah, exactly. So like, we get to the host, and I'm like, hey, how are you? How's your night going?
Yes.
And she's like, how many?
So she wants no part of it either.
That sounds like me when I'm with somebody. I'm like, how's everything going? They're like, what do you want?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, damn. I'm like, all right. Like, and it's tough. But over the years, like, I started to like, I can't let somebody else's energy impact me.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't hit my force field.
And that one takes practice.
That's when I had to practice.
Well, so going back to what you were saying earlier about the motivation rah-rah, it was cringy because when I first started at AS, like, I'm this forever optimist. So I'm always like, love Tony Robbins. Love this, love that, you know? And so I would be in that position where like I would try to motivate my team that way. Like, I'd be in front of the room when we were like a smaller company. I probably had like 15 people in the team at the time. And I'm like, you know, like, let's go, guys. And we'd like fucking anthem up at the front, like, we're making websites. Like, literally crazy, like, in a football locker room shit. I'm not even kidding. There's still videos. If you want to go to my YouTube from forever ago, on my Instagram, on Adapting, you're going to see me do some shit that's going to cringe, okay? But, like, the thing is, like, back to like what you said, like, not everybody gets motivated by the same shit.
Right. Yes.
And if I saw somebody in the team, like, in the crowd in my team, and they were like that, I
felt it.
I'd come up to them after, like, why are you pissed off? What's wrong with you? They'd be like, nothing's wrong with me. I'm like, you looked like you were fucking angry at that. Like, what's wrong with you? And I had to, like, it took me after realizing that type of shit. It's like, yo, not everybody gets motivated the same way.
And it's funny. I'm kind of in that boat where especially depending on the source.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this.
I can get kind of like feel like it's a little patronizing. Like, yeah, buddy, we can do it. And I'm like, yo, I know how to do my job.
Right.
Like, you tell me it needs to be done, I'll deliver.
You're
Correct.
Right. Whereas I feed off that energy.
But,
I'm like, let's go.
But when I'm giving a seminar, I'm more likely to still do what you said, even though I know how I react to it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Which is weird.
Well, because you feel like because you were in a vulnerable, when you're speaking in publicly, after my first like few times speaking like in large audience, it was like, I wanted them to have my energy.
Yes.
But that's not their job.
Right.
But I had to, but like, that's why you, somebody who's not like that normally, like, you feel like you have to because you feel like you want them to be excited for you because you're vulnerable and you don't want them not to like it. So you're like, I want them to be happy with me. But maybe they just got fired. Or
Right. You never know.
And it's also the conversation we said yesterday regarding content we're putting out there.
Right.
And she's like, well, person X, Y, and Z might not like it. I go, that's okay. That's not who we're looking for anyway.
Right. Like, if it doesn't attract them, I don't give a shit. Like, we'll get closer to somebody else.
And I have to keep reminding myself
So
of that.
if we're talking to a room of 100 people, great. That just made it easy for me. Half these people aren't interested. This half.
Totally.
Yep.
So either way, I love it. I think that's so awesome. Now, where can people find you guys? So that's where you plug yourself. Hashtag plug yourself.
Plug yourself.
You're good at this.
All right, so Revolutionize Nutrition. Our website's revolutionizusa.com, but we are all over social media. So if you go on our Instagram at RevolutionizeUSA, Revolutionize Nutrition on Facebook, Revolutionize Nutrition on YouTube. We have a ton of content out there, not only like our seminars, but we have, tip and trick videos. We have recipe videos.
3 recipe books.
3 recipe books. Like we have so much. We do complimentary initial consultations and Fit 3D scans at Rev. We're a very no pressure environment. We want to work with people who want to be there.
Right.
So it's never going to be like you're going into Rev and getting a sales pitch. You're going into Rev because you already want to be there.
I love it.
And we're all just about that community.
And we're super open about all the pricing and program info is right on the website.
We're
so by the time you
transparent.
come in, we just want to learn more about you than about selling us.
Totally. And that's important, because like it's almost like with nutrition and like health stuff, it's a vulnerable thing, obviously.
Yes,
so people
very.
They're worried. They're like, oh, I got to change my lifestyle.
It's an uncomfortable situation.
I don't want someone walking into like a car salesman where like they have to have their guard up on a sales level as well as the vulnerability. It's a bad combo.
Totally.
Yep.
Totally. Like that quintessential, like walk on a car lot. It's like,
I want
You
people
know
to
it's going to
feel
be a stressful day. Here, I'm like, okay, you know what the price is, so that's either going to be a stressor or not a stressor to you, and it's already handled.
And then it's our job to just make you feel as comfortable as we can make you in a vulnerable situation.
Yeah,
You know, something new. Anybody can feel intimidated.
And one of the things though too, I don't know if you guys do this or don't do this, but I know this is a big turnoff for me. A couple years back, I was going to this chiropractor. Like I went to I met him out somewhere like an event, and I was I'm gonna go get adjusted or whatever because my neck and back are always fucked. So I'm like, I'm gonna go check this guy out. And he had me in like a 45-minute like onboard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chiro.
I'm like, dude, I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm not getting
They're
adjusted
sales
right
guys.
now. I'm 45 minutes into this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I getting adjusted today? So no, we're gonna schedule it for the next one. I'm like,
No.
homie.
I wasn't here for that.
No, like this is. I just wasted 45 minutes. So I think So what can you talk about your process to help these people understand that it's not like that?
Luckily, the day one is more of it's not onboarding, but it's information gathering.
Gathering.
Because
you guys do the adjustment next time.
Yeah. So we do.
But you do get your scan that day.
Okay.
But we pretty much we can't give you a nutrition plan until we meet you.
Yeah.
Right. Of course. Right.
So we have to learn about you, teach you about the program, pull in as much information as we want or as we need.
Yeah. And then once that's over, the girls will go to work. They're going to write up 2 sample meal templates for you.
Okay.
We're not big meal template people, but you got to give you training wheels to start with.
Mm-hmm.
And then we teach you how to track and do all your own food during the day, so you can basically make your own meal plans each day and live flexibly. And do all that.
Got it.
And that's really what you and your nutritionists work on each week is, okay, what did I do good? What did I struggle on? If I hit my numbers, great, and my progress is awesome. Okay, how can we make this easier, smoother, or stay the same?
Right.
If I struggled, then okay. Like I have some clients that I'm talking about, I have to tell them we're drinking more water, just eating more protein today.
Right.
And then I have some that are so to the gram weighing the protein powder.
Oh my God.
So it's really meeting the client where they are.
All different walks of life, really.
Yeah. But I do love how you guys keep saying flexible stuff because at the end of the day, it's
Flexible.
like, listen, life is fucking messy.
Oh yeah.
Like sometimes you're smashing popcorn at night, sometimes you're smashing a Big Mac an hour.
There you go. Sometimes you show up to work and you left all your meals behind at home. What are you gonna do?
McDonald's had that chicken Big Mac now.
The chicken Big Mac.
It wasn't bad.
But the point is like if you're in a rut, you forgot your meals. Like we want you to have the knowledge and the tools to be able to
we
make our decision.
We actually have a whole seminar on all those PDFs, this whole PowerPoint on if eating out, here's really good options at every restaurant you can go to. So I just ordered this, and it's going to be really high protein, low carb, low fat.
Right.
Like Wild or whatever.
Randy's like fucking Chinese food place here.
Dude, we have like what's
When we first met, I was kind of doing a prep with her, and I was eating like Subway and Chinese food and shredding. I was just tracking it to like make it fit. So I would eat like 2 meals a day, but it would be like a Chipotle cheesesteak.
But he made it work.
He made it work.
So, I know me. I cannot eat.
All right, hold on. I have to know this. Yes. And then we'll end here. So I'm gonna start with you. Yes. Because I'm more intrigued about your answer to this question. I'm gonna be honest.
Excellent.
If you're fucking whatever, Friday, Saturday night, whatever, the nights you're sitting home watching TV or something, and you're like, I'm gonna fucking binge and fucking eat something fucking terrible.
What's my go-to?
What's your go-to snack-a-roni?
Oh, snackaroni.
Let's go get into this.
First,
It's still not gonna be exciting as you think. You're gonna be really upset.
I'm gonna order in like either like a big thing of like with sloppy sushi or steak.
No, your Tia's.
But my Tia is
The fuck is a Tia?
It's this really good, like really authentic Mexican place by us.
Okay.
If you like American Mexican, you will not like it.
Okay.
No,
it's authentic shit.
Banging. I mean, ceviche that's supposed to serve a family of 10. I eat the whole thing in just one sitting. But I'll eat that. But then like I love snacking on cookies and ice cream. I would say those are like my go-tos.
But what's your go-to ice cream?
That's gonna be Cookman Creamery. I'm going to give that a plug in Asbury. I always go to Cookman Creamery. They have amazing small batches there, and I will go balls to the wall with that.
Yeah, you'll bike like 20 miles and stop and get your ice cream.
Yeah, I'll bike and I walk in. I'm like, I need pints to go, please. I take my pints home, and then it's supposed to last me a week, but somehow it only lasts me a day.
And the bun cakes.
And the bun cakes. Oh, come on. Listen, I would get nothing but
cakes. This is good. Dude. I thought you were going to say, like, I ain't fucking, like, what's those rice cakes?
I am a human being.
Because she does, like, these little, like, yogurt bowls she makes in the lane.
Yeah.
That's what she's going to say,
but nothing but cakes. Like, I would only get it when I would go to Tom's River or Shrewsbury, but they just opened up one up in Howell, right where I live. I was driving to one of my clients the other day, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, they're opening nothing but cakes, and I've been getting one a week there, too.
Oh, my God, I love it.
She showed up to surprise her client, and her client got her one.
We've been talking about it for weeks, so my client, I'm like, yo, we're going to get bun cakes one day, and we keep talking about it, we never do it. So yesterday, I'm on my way to go train him. I'm like, let me pick up a bun cake for him and surprise him. I go to the house to do his at-home training session. I go, I got you a bun. And he goes, joke's on you. Go downstairs. And I go down to the training studio, and there's a bun there waiting for me. So we basically just traded bun cakes. But
I love that.
Listen, I like cookies.
Wait, so I didn't realize that
you
train at in-homes?
Yeah, I do in-homes, and I train people like at like Planet Fitnesses. I'll beat them because I can get them in for free there, so it's cool.
Yeah. I want to do them with my wife.
Yeah, dude, you have a gym.
I have a gym there.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I have everything that we would need.
Oh my God, it's probably like and I mean the person that I do in-homes with, he has like the bare minimum. So if you got stuff, we can have so much fun.
Yeah, I have the cable stuff,
my toys.
a treadmill, and the row machine. I want to get some more stuff, but nonetheless, so we'll talk about that off.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. And what about you?
Sushi? Whatever I want. You
just fucking go.
Chinese, if I'm having a bad day, it's always Chinese.
What do you get though? What do you get?
It depends. Depends on the place. If I can get a place that'll do the white meat General Tso's, because sometimes you get those pieces that are just not right.
It's like nasty.
Yeah. So you're like, it's a dark meat day, honey. Fucking stack it up.
Is this dog cartilage?
Yeah, I can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Chinese is go-to.
But what about snack though? No Doritos, nothing, guys.
I like Doritos. I'll eat snowballs and ding dongs.
Yo! I love snowballs. I've been having it forever though.
Dude, I was talking to my therapist. Guys do account for mental health.
Yeah.
And I just came up the other day. I'm like, I'm having too many snowballs. I'm fucking bored. She's like,
you gotta keep the snowballs down.
She stopped. She's like, who the fuck eats snowballs? She's my therapist. I'm like, you're not supposed to talk down to me. I pay you to make me feel good.
Yeah, you're supposed to tell me great things.
That's a great coping mechanism.
Yeah, I'm glad you're eating the snowballs. That's
so I changed up and actually bring things this week just to fuck.
Okay. Do you know the chocolate tasty cakes?
Yes.
Cupcakes?
Yeah.
Dude.
Are those yours?
Yes. Those are my fucking...
The ones at Wawa, they have like the little 3-packs of...
Dude. My dad, since I was a kid, my dad, like, he just always brought them home.
Right.
And like that was always in the house, and maybe it's just they were just there, and I just always like,
but now you
love chocolate.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, like now, like now I don't have them as often. I probably have them like maybe like 3 or 4 times a year now. I'm like you,
that's
depressing. But like right, but so like on my birthday, like probably the best cake I've ever gotten. So my team, and this is in Asbury, 2019. They stacked an entire, like, it looked like a sheet cake.
Oh my God,
It had
those-
all these fucking chocolate cakes towered.
Oh,
Dude, you must have loved
my
that.
Dude,
gosh.
I was in a coma.
That's incredible.
That's amazing.
But that's my go-to.
That's a
my
good
go-to.
answer.
That's my go-to for sure. I love sushi too.
Sushi,
Come check it
yeah.
I
out.
can never go wrong with.
But and
so
I'm
damn
like
good.
a veteran sushi guy. I'm like I go complex rolls. I'm talking Cali's.
Oh, it's gotta be.
I'm talking
okay.
Cali rolls. You know what I'm saying? Like the shit. I'm just kidding.
My
I
shit
literally
is
all
loaded.
basic shit. No,
I
go
like the weird
basic.
shit. Like she won't eat eel. She won't eat anything.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jacqueline does. That's my wife does. She's like, oh, eel, this, that,
Yeah.
fucking.
I gotta be careful with some
I remember
pork,
we were in
too.
Yeah.
we were in Costa Rica on this beautiful fucking beachfront restaurant. They're getting like octopus like from like killed it about 20 yards from me. I'm like, Michelle, and it was probably the best octopus I've had in my life.
Yeah.
I couldn't pay her to have a sliver of it.
Oh, you don't like seafood?
I did. I
No,
do
she
like
does, but
seafood.
I'm telling you, this was grilled and it was amazing. Best sauce I ever had.
Right.
Yeah, I like fish, shrimp, lobster, but
Okay.
like I don't like oysters and clams.
You like the
and
basic stuff.
octopus
But she
and
wouldn't even
stuff like
try it.
that. I know. I remember I took the tiniest piece. I was like,
that doesn't count.
the texture's
She'll
weird.
jump off the cliff. She'll jump out of a plane. But after you have octopus.
100%.
All right, good stuff, guys. So let's see here. So, all right, so first off, I believe time is one asset we don't get back. So you guys being here with me today means the world.
Yes.
Appreciate you both.
Thank you so
for
much.
having us.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, people, just one more time, what's the website? Where can you find you?
RevolutionizeUSA.com and on Instagram at RevolutionizeUSA and YouTube and Facebook. Also, Revolutionize Nutrition and
OnlyFans.
Yeah,
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Yes, OnlyFans.
Michelle, just kidding. It's Randy. That's the page.
At Michelle, just kidding.
If we get enough interest, I'll do it.
So you guys
let's take
let
a
us
poll,
know.
guys. Let's take a
You
poll.
guys let us know if you
Yeah.
want to see Randy
Fan
do his
favorites.
thing.
You guys are the best.
Thank you so much, Sean.
Good stuff. Appreciate you both.
This is awesome.